Hello and welcome to the Visionless Designs YouTube channel, the channel where you get to see all the things I can't. So in today's video I figured I'd show off my grinder box here. So in a previous video I did, you'll see me using a grinder to sand down some wood outside, and grinders produce an awful lot of dust and it's not always possible to do the sanding outside. So I had to come up with a method to be able to sand in the workshop regardless of what the weather conditions are. And that's where this box here comes in handy. As you can see here, I've got a 10cm wall at the front, and then going all around the sides, we've got a 30cm drop. Ignore this one here. The reason for this is so that when doing the sanding, any dust hits this instead of you, and then can drop back down into the box. And it's higher at the back because it's got further to go, so it stops it going up and out. The other thing here, we've got 20mm holes. These are great to go with my workmate dogs, as well as suction for the extractor. In the bottom here, you can see the ducting connector. This is a 120mm connector I've got here. I've got the sides all going on a slope down to it so that any dust manages to get sucked in. I've also got this damp-proof membrane in to try and provide a smoother surface for the dust to go down. Some people put the pipe off to one side and have one slope. I personally found having the two slopes going down gave a better result. Pull this down here. You can see I've got another pipe on the side in the middle. I found that after a bit of experimenting, this was the best place to put it to catch the most amount of dust. On the underside here, you can see I've got a shelf with my grinders and all the accessories for it here. Under here, you can also see the ducting just there. One thing to take note of is, of course, the ducting puts a slight restriction on how much height you can have here. So that is one thing to consider when making these. I would have preferred a bit of extra depth here for the suction, but I didn't want to lose my storage height, so I came to a compromise and went with that. Right, just wheel this thing around. Here we go. So, in case you hadn't guessed, it's on wheels to make it easier. Make sure to get wheels with brakes so it doesn't move as you're using it. On the side here, we've got all my grinder discs and pads nicely organised, so it's easy for me to grab them as and when needed. On the side here, we've also got the ducting connector. So, for these, I used generic 120mm male-to-male couplers for normal ducting. I was originally trying to find specialist parts, but these things are super cheap and they do the job, so definitely worth getting them. So, it's all well and good me showing off the box, but the big question is, how does it actually perform? Well, we'll have a go at that now. I've got a nice piece of Douglas in here. As you can see, it's got a bit of a lip on there. So you're going to use the grinder to get rid of that now. Another thing which I should mention is I've got a wedge here. So as I said, I've got the workmate dogs in to act as stoppers for things, but obviously I can't tighten up the boards to clamp onto it. So I need to use little wedges in just to keep that pressure on it. So that is one thing you will need to consider. So just grab the... Here we go now. Here's the big grinder now. This is my 230mm grinder. If anything's going to create dust, it's going to be this one. So I'm going to be doing this without a mask for now. That's only because I'm doing the video. You must always wear a mask when using these things because of the amount of fine dust it produces. So yeah, remember your masks. Here we go then. So I haven't quite finished this board here, but that should give you a rough idea of how much dust this thing catches. I think I've got a slight line just above me of where a bit of dust might have got out, but the main point of it is I'm not instantly a snowman from the amount of dust it spews out. So now you've seen how it handles dust, we've gone to the opposite end. As you can see here, I've got hinges, so that the sides fold down. So let's have a look why I could possibly want that. Whoop. Yeah, my walkie. Out you come. Down you go. Down you go. Put you down here. And then I'm going to grab you, lift you up, and put you in the box. See, there we go. So, now it's a leveling box. There we go then, just click you into place. There we go. So, you can see here, I've got my Festool 1/2 inch router attached to my guide rails here. What's the purpose of this? Well, the box has now been converted into a CLC machine, my cookie leveling contraption. So, the way this works, get it in place, drop it down to the height that I would require, lock them, come around here, and here we go. Pass, back again, slide it across, do that, that. And you'll keep doing that until this has been leveled. May need to drop it a couple of times, just in case it's too deep in some areas, because you don't want to take off too much at once. But this is a really quick and efficient way of leveling uneven pieces of wood. And here on the sides, this is a very important part of this. You have to make sure your sides are perfectly equal. Same as the bottom, everything on this has to be level and needs to be able to take any weight without flexing. It's again the same with this board here. You need to keep everything strong, so as you use the machine, there's no bowing or moving, because otherwise, what was the point in doing it? The thing on this as well to consider, as I said, I started from the back and came to the front. That's so that the chippings fly away from me. If I started the router on this side and pushed it away from me, then all the chippings are going to be bouncing off the grooves that are being made and going towards me. So you always want to start at the back and go forward. As I said about the dust, with the router, there's a lot of force behind big chippings. So as you slide it across, this hole here gets bigger and bigger. And a lot of chippings tend to fly out of it. This can be avoided by either putting a sheet attached to the router here that follows it, and any chippings bounce up, hit that and bounce back in. For me, I've got this added attachment here. So I've got a pipe that connects to my extractor again. So any chippings hit that and get sucked in. If they don't get sucked in, they bounce off it and it's sucked in by the bottom vents or the rear vent. So when I attach it, I've got a slot here, so it follows the guide rail slots. And it's got these eyelets here, which slide onto here. So just slide him out. Pop that up to there. There's my eyelet there. And that all slides through there. Slides through there. That's on. Lock it all on. Pull that back. And then as I go here, see, as you slide that there, the extractor follows along. So all the chippings are caught as much as possible. So as you can see, this is a really efficient way of leveling off the cookies. Highly recommend it if you can. Obviously, you can get different size router bits for it. Bigger the bit, the less passes you have to take. But it's a good round regardless of what size you have. In general, things I'd change about this in future, I might just add a bit more height to the sides here, just so it catches the dust more. I may even put a roof on it as I change it. But for now, it's okay. Another change that might be worth doing in future is the bottom suction, because I haven't got much of a steep drop for dust to go into. I might change it to something like this. This is my Axminster Big Mouth dust hood. I might just cut a slot and have that drop in, so I've got a good drop for all the dust to go in. Only problem is, obviously, that's quite deep, so I'll lose a lot of the storage space below. But again, that's a future consideration. At the moment, everything works really great. And yeah, that's my grinder box. Okay, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out the website, visionlessdesigns.com, where you'll find all my products, which will help support the channel, as well as links to my social media and Etsy store. Links are also in the description below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the end. Apparently it's really good for me, because it's good for everyone, like cookies. Cookies are good, aren't they? I think.